This video series is aimed at those totally and utterly new to creating scenario AI plans for the Battlefront Combat Mission game series. In part 1, I'll describe what AI plans in Combat Mission are, what the 3 key AI plan elements are, and an overview of how an AI plan works. It's designed to complement the information and advice given in the Combat Mission Game Engine Manual section, Artificial Intelligence Editor, and assumes familiarity with the Combat Mission Scenario Editor. There are 2 types of AI in Combat Mission. You've got the Tactical AI and the Computer Player or Strategic AI. The Tactical AI controls how our wee pixel guys, crews and infantry behave or react in combat. It's a combination of many factors such as their instinct for self-preservation, aggressiveness, leadership and skill. Basically, this is what makes them decide to fight or flight. The TAC AI also manages infantry and vehicle pathfinding and unit spacing. You cannot change these reaction or pathfinding behaviours within your AI plan, but you can influence them up to a point. The strategic AI is how the computer player decides to fight the scenario. It decides its plan of attack, how it attacks, what sort of defensive arrangement it adopts, etc. And you as a scenario designer create the AI plan which the computer player uses to fight the battle. In effect, you become the human player's opponent by proxy. Think of the AI plan as though you were playing the scenario. So you have to create the overall concept of the battle and plot all your unit orders prior to hitting go, and you don't get to change any of your orders once the fight begins. So how's an AI plan created? The plan is created by the designer and a scenario opened within the scenario editor in the section titled AI. This scenario could be a newly minted creation by the designer, or it could be an existing scenario that you wish to create an AI plan for. The computer player only ever uses one AI plan for a scenario. However, it can choose and use different AI plans, if they exist, each time the scenario is played. Each of these AI plans could be very different or have slight variations on a theme. Obviously, multiple plans may give some replay value for players, and the designer can also choose which level of likelihood the AI will choose a particular plan or even decide not to use a plan. And this is a feature that's handy for testing your plans out. An AI plan utilises 3 key elements. You have groups, map zones and orders, and we'll chat about these in a bit more detail now. First off, groups. They are a collection of units, which could be squads, teams, guns and vehicles, assigned to perform tasks together. You need to purchase units via the site-specific purchase option in the scenario editor. And then you'll need to allocate them to an AI group, which you can have up to 16 groups, 1 to 16. Then we have map zones, and these are the areas of the map for the group to focus on, and they can consist of a map movement zone. And the map movement zone for an order is painted on the 2D map in the editor. This yellow painted zone will be the destination for the AI group, and the AI will attempt to move into the painted zone. Then you've got fire zones. And this is done by painting the 2D map in the editor, just like you did with the movement zone. While that AI order has been carried out, the AI group will attack the fire zone with suppressive fire, or suppressive area fire rather. It's worth noting that the fire zone is the lowest priority task for the AI group, so if it gets distracted by something else, it'll engage that. Then we've got facing zones, and these are worth noting here because they can make or break your AI plan. Each AI order can be given a single tile location for it to face towards after painting the movement zone. When the AI group reaches its destination, it will pivot or rotate towards that designated tile in the map. And now, if you don't do this at the movement zone, the AI group units will default to pivot to face the direction of the next movement zone, which is painted within the following AI order. That could risk your tanks or vehicles turning their bums to the enemy, so be careful with that. And then we have the withdraw zones. So an AI group can be ordered to withdraw while moving towards the movement destination. The vehicles will move in reverse, and if they can pop smoke, they'll pop smoke. Will move in reverse to the destination, while infantry will leap back while turning around to face behind them. And like the facing zone, withdraw zones are a single tile that the AI group will face towards. You can always combine these zones, and you've got several options how you do that. In this example here, you can have a unit moving forward and then also have fire zones painted so it might engage in suppressive area fire as it tracks towards the painted map movement zone. And then at the completion of that movement, then you paint a face zone, and hopefully that face zone will be maybe to where you anticipate there's going to be enemy contact. Orders are the basic instruction sets for a group. There's 32 times order slots per group, and within each order you have a series of drop-down menus which give you options for each order. Sometimes you want an AI group to act based on battlefield conditions rather than set times, and this is achieved with the use of triggers. You can tell an AI group to wait for another AI group to execute an order, or to wait for a unit, which could be enemy or friendly, to touch a trigger objective. There are 5 movement behaviours options in the drop down. You've got dash, quick, advance, assault and maximum assault. And let's look at these in a wee bit of detail. First off, we've got dash. With dash, units in the group move at maximum speed and will not engage enemy forces. I'd suggest if you're using this with infantry, keep it for short distance only, or hold it for vehicle only units to prevent exhaustion en route to a specified map zone. Then we have quick, and this emphasises speed over combat. And while units may occasionally halt to return fire, it's generally unlikely they'll do that. Quick is ideal for covering medium distances rapidly without completely tiring the units, especially when enemy contact is improbable, but not impossible. Now we come to the assault commands. With assault, units ordered to assault will generally interrupt their movement when facing the opportunity to engage the enemy, but they'll not remain stationary for too long. However, you've got to watch using this one. You can only use with groups that are made up of multiple elements, for example a platoon. You can't use it with a sole unit, for example one vehicle or one squad. With max assault, this is the complete opposite of dash. Here, max assault tells the group to stop and engage with maximum firepower whenever it sees an opportunity to do so. Again, watch using this one though, same caveat as assault. as a group needs multiple units within it. Advance is the one that I use the most. It's a sort of happy place between dash and maximum assault. Here, group units instructed to advance will decide what they should do, but generally it's to keep moving after taking some shots at spotted enemy units. It's not dependent on group size, i.e. can work with a single squad or vehicle. In short, it's a foolproof option when you're designing your plan. So if you're not sure about using things like assault or maximum assault or quicker dash, just stick with advance. You'll generally get the result you want with that. The next one's the stance. This option defines the basic behaviour and combat posture of a unit for a given order. Right, so there's 6 main options here. Active, shoot early and shoot often. Cautious is shoot only when a clear target presents itself and don't go cyclic when one does. This basically helps conserve ammo. And then we've got a couple of ambush commands. Basically, ambush instructs units to only open fire if the enemy closes within a specific distance. And with ambush armour, the unit will only open fire if armoured vehicles come within a specific distance. And hide, well, that instructs the group to keep their heads down. They'll stay put, only occasionally popping their heads up to take a peek. Units that get shot may return fire, but other units in the group will try to remain hidden. Now we come to passenger status, and this option tells infantry carrying vehicles and bunkers to dismount as passengers or keep them mounted. Keep in mind that this option is activated before the designated map zone is reached. We'll cover this in detail when we come to create our plan in part 2. In-game clock times, the one that confuses folks the most, I reckon. This section is a key element in coordinating your AI. You have the exit between and time settings, which are absolute scenario time, not relative duration. Exit between times affect the next order. They tell the AI what time period to enact an order. The first time tells the AI to never start the order until that time, and the second time tells the AI to never start the order later than that time. So how does an AI plan work? Well, the AI plan is an overall coordination of groups, orders and map zones. The AI editor lets you coordinate various orders and groups in a plan to some degree through the use of the exit between and time settings. You can incorporate triggers if desired. What we'll look at next in part 2 is actually how we create an AI plan, and we'll do that through step by step to create a very, very simple AI plan. Okay, look forward to seeing you in part 2. Cheerio.